Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
Everybody.
morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Conversations. I am so excited this morning. We have a special guest who's also an AMR Elite Realtor, but we got a lot of tricks in our pockets, and I'm just happy to be here this morning. I am Alicia Richardson, broker and owner of AMR Elite Realtors, and everyone else can introduce themselves.
And I'm Juanita Winky Kennedy, Associate Broker of AMR Elite Realtors as well.
And I am Mashana Perry. I am realtor with AMR Elite Realtors and broker owner with Making Moves Happen Realty in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we have our special guest. So, Patricia, if you could introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Patricia Frederick. I am a realtor with AMR Elite Realtors as well, but I also own a small business accounting firm called Finance360. So I provide accounting and financial management services to small businesses throughout the DMV area and really across the US.
Awesome.
Awesome. That sounds like good stuff, Miss Patricia.
Yes, smart accountant.
Yes, we're glad to have you with us. So, can you tell us about what type of business your Finance 360 is so that, people can know and know exactly what you do?
Yes. So currently, we provide accounting and financial management services to small businesses. So, what that entails and what it means is that we work with small businesses as they are growing. We provide support to their accounting back office, make sure they know their numbers. We also help with budgets and forecasting, so that way they're able to also not only support their business but also grow their business. So we really kind of take that weight off of their shoulders, and in that way they can focus more so on being the front end of their business, doing that business development and making sure that they're able to not only just make it but also thrive.
All right. So, you help thrive businesses to thrive, and that's good news.
Yes.
Yeah, that
That's
is
great news.
right.
Great news.
Today's economy. And so I know that people are probably wondering with those services that you offer, like, are there packages or what type of services are they? And like, what are the ranges of the price points for your services?
So yes, I do offer packages. So at the most basic level, every small business, regardless of whether they have it or not, should have bookkeeping. And the reason being is bookkeeping is your accounting foundation.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times what I will see is sometimes there are small business owners where either they don't have bookkeeping in place, they're just kind of scrambling at tax time to get things in order, or they trying to do it themselves while also running a business, especially whenever you have businesses who are just starting out, right?
Mhm.
The reality is startup means different things to different people, right? A startup could mean that you are chief everything officer. You do everything, right? But for some, there are startups where maybe they do have financial support and a financial backing. So they might be able to outsource some services whenever you first start up. So the thing that I always like to make sure that people remember is startup does not mean you don't have any money. It just means that you're just getting started.
Mhm.
So what I do right now is I provide a bookkeeping service. So included in that bookkeeping service, I manage all of your bookkeeping in QuickBooks. So what that means is I create a chart of accounts for you if you don't have one. So at the most basic level, for a startup, if you don't have any accounting services in place, I get you set up on that. So I get you set up on QuickBooks. I build your chart of accounts out, and your chart of accounts is what shows you what your general ledger, right? So I provide that service. I those on a weekly basis. So as the transactions are coming in, then I record them to your GL accounts on a weekly basis. And then with that, I also produce financial reports for you. So the main reports are the profit and loss, also known as the income statement, and the balance sheet.
Mhm.
Most businesses do not focus on a balance sheet, which is really the most important financial statement business because it covers the entire life of your business. So since a lot of startups, especially our LLCs, just don't focus on the balance sheet because they don't really use it. So when you get your taxes filed, if you do have financial statements, your tax preparer may want to see your balance sheet, but they're really filing your taxes based on your profit and loss statement. But there are accounts in your balance sheet that flow into your profit and loss statement. So you want to make sure that your balance sheet is also correct. So I provide that to you on a monthly basis. Then we take time out on a quarterly basis, depending on which service level you have. So at my most basic package, I go over your financial statements with you on a quarterly basis. So we have a strategy call, understand what you're looking for, go over your financial statements because sometimes small business owners, they got into the business because this is something they love to do. They may not necessarily understand the accounting portion of it. And really, they may not have had somebody to take the time out to explain it to them. So inherently, a lot of things I do is providing education because the more that you know, the more you're able to thrive. But I try not to inundate them with it. So with that, I provide the bookkeeping service. And I also provide payroll. So I provide payroll, and then I also provide accounts payable and accounts receivable. So you're and you're invoicing. And then I also provide the budgeting and forecasting. So it's more like an advisory service for those businesses that are growing.
That's a lot of information. Needless to say, she is doing a lot, and we need all of it.
It keeps me busy.
You don't realize. You kind of answered some of the parts of my question, but I guess I'll reword how I want to ask my question because you did briefly mention QuickBooks. And so your description of QuickBooks is, you put the different information in with the profit and loss statement and different things like that. But I guess a lot of people want to know, with QuickBooks, in your opinion, how is it a significant role in helping a business owner? Because most people just feel like it's another expense. I can keep track of it myself and that type of thing. But I know you're not like here to sell QuickBooks, but is there a way you can tell us how important QuickBooks is for a business owner?
Yes. So with QuickBooks is the most widely used financial software for small businesses within the U.S. So how it helps you is that if you connect your bank accounts, your credit card accounts to QuickBooks, you get live business insights, right? It's happening all in real time. So that's one of the main ways that QuickBooks is able to help you. The other thing is QuickBooks can provide additional services besides just tracking your revenue and expenses. You can use it to send out invoices. You can use it to receive payments. You definitely would use that to view your financial reports and where you are. You can pull those financial reports out and do a comparison from last year to this year, or last quarter to this year, last month to this month. And so that way, if you are setting goals, especially, then you'll say, okay, my revenue was at $100,000 last year. This time, I want to get it to $200,000. So it helps you as a business owner plan. Okay, I might need to pound the pavement a little bit more. I might need to do some more development. I might need to do some more outreach. It helps you understand on the front end of your business how am I going to strategize based on the numbers that I see behind the scenes. And so QuickBooks really helps you to really put all those things together to provide your insights. So
and not be scrambling to get receipts and stuff at tax.
Yes. Yes. So you can scan those receipts into QuickBooks. And when you scan the receipts into QuickBooks, you can match them to your expenses. I think what it is, honestly, a lot of people just don't do it. But QuickBooks is very smart. It has the ability to do all of those things. And what I will say is QuickBooks is marketed as a product that anybody can use, right? As a business owner, you can do it yourself. I mean, you can, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be accurate, right? Because you do need to have some sort of accounting fundamentals and some knowledge to be able to ensure that it's accurate. And on top of that, you're running a business. So the clients that I manage their books for, it's gotten too overwhelming for them to do it themselves, right? There's some of them, they started out doing it themselves and they're like, hey, my business is growing. I just really don't have the time to deal with this.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times what I will see also is, and it's interesting because I have done some training with small business clients. So they go in, categorize all the transactions, you get the green check mark, I'm done. What they don't know sometimes is that you have to go back and you actually reconcile your accounts. You need to make sure all the transactions came in through the bank feed. You have to match it. And so sometimes small business owners don't necessarily realize that, and it's really just an important part of your what we call month-end close. So there's really a lot that goes into it while you're running a business, to be honest.
Gotcha.
And so, Patricia, can you give us like a feature, like something that's different within QuickBooks that business owners may not be aware of, that can really help their business? Like maybe some type of a tip or something that QuickBooks has that business owners may not be aware of.
Like you said, uploading those receipts is one.
Uploading the receipts is one. Yes, you can do that. Download the app to your phone, take a picture, upload the receipt. So
Okay.
that is, yes, you can download the QuickBooks app to your phone. So one of the features that I have found as of late that has been helpful for small business owners, you can do year-to-date reporting. So sometimes, like if you, let's say you want to get a loan or there's something that you want to do, and a lender may ask you, okay, well, what have you done year to date? I'll see sometimes where business owners, they might just go in, they're fumbling, they're trying to find their last month's report. That's not year to date, right? Your month to month reporting is going to show you what you did that month. There's a drop down in QuickBooks when you go to the report section, and then you click on it and it says year to date reporting, and it will give you everything that you've done for that year if your bookkeeping is up to date. That's really their bookkeeping
That's
has
the key.
bookkeeping.
So, okay, so right, we have to make sure that bookkeeping is up to date. And so, with that being said, because I'm sure there are some entrepreneurs out there that are doing this QuickBooks by themselves and doing the basic thing just to kind of stay afloat. So, with that being said, what are some solutions maybe that you design for business owners to help them really simplify all these processes to make their life easier while they're building their business and their brand?
So if they're doing it independently, something that I am actually rolling out this fall is what I call more like office hours. So if you're doing it independently, then we could set aside maybe an hour, a week, a month, whatever the frequency is that you decide, and then that way I will be able to review the books for you. You would have to categorize all the transactions and everything, but I could review it for you to ensure that it's correct. And the reason why I did that is because bookkeeping is expensive, right? At the end of the day, if you're a small business owner and maybe you are not necessarily where you need to be revenue wise, bookkeeping, the investment in your business, it's not that you don't want to make it, it just may potentially be out of reach for you at the moment. So for me, the basic packages that I have to provide these monthly services and everything that just sounds, a lot, and you do get that full service accounting, I start at $600 a month. But for a smaller business owner, maybe you are, $150,000 in revenue, it can be expensive for you to do that, right? $600 a month may be a pretty sizable expense for you. So I designed this so that way it would still give you the opportunity to have a professional, who is an accountant, who is in the field to review those books for you to ensure that you have everything in order. What I will say though is during this time, I also like to talk to clients and really just kind of coach them the difference between a personal expense and a business expense. Because honestly, the thing that I have learned is people spend their money on what's important to them, right? That's period. And so sometimes I'll see where clients may say, well, I don't know if I can really afford bookkeeping. But then whenever I actually sit down and look and, maybe you've got this expense here and this expense there, and, there's commingling, I'm not shaming you for it. It's more so bringing awareness. So this is really where the extra money is going. So, if you can cut back on some of these, and especially if it's not truly a business expense, you really need
Right.
to separate that, right? So one of the things that I do talk to clients about, if you have an LLC, especially, give yourself a monthly stipend, right? So you give yourself a monthly stipend. This is it's because as an LLC, you can't give yourself a paycheck, right? You're not a W-2 employee. You're not able to do that. So give yourself a monthly stipend, or whatever the frequency it is, right? You might want to do a weekly stipend. If it's $500 a week, this is what I'm transferring to myself, to my personal account, which is what I make sure, to your personal account. And that's for your own personal expenses. That way you keep your business and your personal expenses separate.
Mhm.
So, so the way I offer those plans, it includes the conversations. So that way I'm really helping you to understand this is what it takes to keep your business afloat. Because the reality is starting a business is expensive, right? It's expensive to have your own business. And I think a lot of times, you have this idea, but whenever you get into it and you're like, wow, I need more money than I thought I did.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that happens often. That happens often. And so you kind of hit on a lot of the questions I had, right? But
Oh,
let me rephrase my questions, right? So I know you find there are major issues for business owners, like that whole thing of, you need to pay yourself out of your account so you don't have your personal mix with your business. I know that's a big thing that happens a lot, and you don't even realize that you're doing it sometimes because that's just the card you have in hand, and the money, that account has the money in it, so you kind of use it. And then when it comes to the bookkeeping and everything, it's like how can you fix that? Of course, start paying yourself, but how can you fix it during the time frame that you realize you've done it? Like, oh my goodness, I use this now. How can you fix it? Because also that's tax ramifications. Is if you're with the company that they monitor your business accounts, it's all types of it's like different ramifications that come into place. And at the same time, I know a lot of the thing of business owners, jacking up their accounts, for a better word, jacking up their accounts, is just the laziness of it. You know what? I'll do it. I'll fix it later. And then you don't get the time to go back, because by the time you go back to reconcile, it's 40 or 50 or 100 transactions. And it's like, whoo, I got to go back and track this. And, so everything should be fixable. How do you fix it?
so everything's really not fixable,
Oh,
right?
don't say that. I said it should be, right?
Because so the reason why I try to provide this education up front is because once you spent the money, you spent it.
Oh,
The way to fix it will be to return it. You know what I mean? So at that point, it's an owner's draw.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. It's an owner's draw. If it was a personal expense used out of your business account, it's an owner's draw. So there are some times where there really just isn't a gray area, and that's just the reality. And so the reason why I provide this education with business owners up front is because I try to help you understand that you keep this over here and this over here, right? But I do understand that things happen. It could be an honest mistake. I think sometimes the things that are most difficult to keep track of, especially, are ATM withdrawals.
Yeah.
So when you go to the ATM, you took a cash transaction, which does not mean that it's not a business expense. Maybe you're doing you have hosting, you need money in a cash box, things like that. So I do tell clients, set up a petty cash account, right? You should have a petty cash account. You can create that in your chart of accounts in QuickBooks, that petty cash accounts. And that way, whenever you have events, or maybe you have, you're a dress designer or something, and you hired a model and you paid them, $100 for the day, you may pay them in cash. Is it wrong? No, it's not. And it's a legitimate business expense. So you just want to make sure that you are documenting it. Use the memo section in QuickBooks. Use the memo section. If you did take an ATM withdrawal, write on the ATM receipt, this is what this is for. Scan it in, or at least hold on to it at a bare minimum. So there are, some solutions that I can advise you of, but the reality is, once you've spent the money, it's spent unless you return it. So the other thing, and I do this personally, I keep my business credit card and my personal credit card in two separate spaces in my wallet, because, and, a lot of places they have tap to pay. I don't have my business credit card saved on my phone like that because I don't want to accidentally tap the wrong card. So, it's just some practical things that you can do to try to more so prevent it from happening. But like I said, I never shame a client for doing it. I just try to educate them on it. Yeah.
Education is key. Education is key because most of the time you don't know. You don't know if you don't know. And a lot of new business owners, they don't realize, it's just like, oh, I'm making money. I'm using this account. I'm making money. I'm using this account. And that's not how it works. So it's a lot to be learned and a lot to be taught. And so
Yes.
yeah, appreciate you. That's a lot of information in a little bit of time. Office hours. So the office hours package. I like that though, because it's just that is what it is. That's what you should be taking care of doing hours, and to take that time out and not do the whole bookkeeping package, because bookkeeping can be expensive. Your price is excellent. I know some bookkeepers that charge much more than that.
Yeah.
We need some classes, so for maybe those new business owners who don't have the finances to get started right now. Do you or will you be doing any classes where maybe they could say, hey, I could pay for a class for one day or a week or however long just to kind of get me set up until I'm able to really afford this monthly expense? Do you do anything like that?
I don't right now, but it doesn't mean that I can't. So I have actually done some training. I'm more so on a case by case basis. I don't have a class rolled out right now at the moment. However, I will see if there's enough of a need, because I think sometimes that's really more so what it is.
The need is there.
Right.
So this is the thing, Juanita. The need is there, but what I do find is people don't want to deal with it. Right? You're running your business. It's more like if I learn QuickBooks, I could do it myself. And then I follow up with them in 3 months, and it's not done. Right? Because you didn't have time. And that's the reality. You didn't have time, or it's just not necessarily your area of expertise. Sometimes, when numbers start to grow, and if it's not necessarily your, especially for creatives, I'll say this: when you're a creative person, you're creative. That's where you focus. I'm not creative. I'm analytical, right? I can't design anything for you. I can't help you. There's nothing that I can do. Okay. But if you need me to get in a spreadsheet for you, I'm your girl.
Right.
So yes. So I say that just because it's a nice thought. And I'm just saying this just based on my last few years of experience. Whenever I did try to offer it, yeah, it was a nice idea, but they don't actually want to do it. I want you to do it for me.
Yeah.
So, but I have been, kind of thinking about, bringing that back around because the other part of that is, you do have a lot of solopreneurs, people who have a full-time job and they're, working on their business to help it grow. And so it's you essentially have, two jobs with that, and you may have a family and all these other things. And so you may just really need that additional support. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Wow.
Awesome information, guys.
Yes, I am. Look, she about to make me backtrack and look at everything and make sure I'm still doing my stuff right,
Well, we have office hours. I can always help out.
Hey, office hours. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So they got to remember Finance360.
Yes, Finance360, Miss Patricia Frederick. I mean, we are delighted that you took the time to share that information with us. Now, as realtors, realtors and brokers, we actually do need the class. It's a lot of us that need the class and don't realize it.
Right.
Because with different things, I realized when I first began as a realtor that I was missing out on taxes or just really doing incorrect. And I didn't realize it took years to get it right. Now, you think you got it right, and then something else comes up because things are steady changing. And it's like, oh, now I can't do that. I got to switch it to this. So, but it's just always good information. And I love that you educate first. Like you just not just saying, okay, give it to me, I'm going to do it. But you're actually trying to educate the person because we still do need to know how to do our own stuff because if something happens, like what do you do if you have no clue? And that tax don't want to hear I had no clue. They don't care. So yeah, you have to know for yourself. But we just appreciate you being on here this morning. It was a lot of great information shared. As always, Coffee and Conversation. So delighted to have anybody that is a professional, that is associated with real estate in any way, shape, or form, but just has something they want to get out and share with us. We are happy to have you on here to showcase your talents, your companies, and for all of us to help one another grow. And we just appreciate you being here this morning, Miss Patricia. So just real quick, we just want to talk about if we got anything real estate wise going on. I mean, are there any listings happening? How's North Carolina hopping and popping? What's going on?
What's going on in NC?
Right there, my Charlotte NC folks. Yeah, we have some closings coming up this month. We don't have any listings this month. It's been a little quiet in that area, but we are working on some new things. Make It Happen Real Estate Academy has lots of CE classes this month. Excuse me. So we're doing some major stuff in August, and we have some good things coming up before the end of the year. So we will keep you posted.
Yes.
Right. And right now, no buyer. Well, one buyer, I'm about to start taking her out and so on and so forth. And I just want everybody to know, like, don't worry about the interest rates right now. Remember, you marry the mortgage, you date the rate. You can always change that rate if the interest rates go down. So just want to encourage any buyer that just really wants to get their feet wet and get in there and get out of renting, because we have got to stop renting. We have to be able to give something to our children and our children's children, and that is the way that they create generational wealth. So we are that one-stop shop. You can call any of us, AMR Elite Realtors LLC. We are here to assist you to own that home and to get that investment property, or to sell that family home and to go to higher heights. So feel free to give us a call and reach out.
Yeah, so we like to take that segment or take that time in our Coffee and Conversations just to encourage buyers that properties are still out there, sellers that properties are still selling, renters that you can buy, and to realtors that work is still taking place. It's a lot of discouragement going on in the world today. Everybody's watching this and watching that and have a fear of this and a fear of that. But we have a financial expert on here that can tell you if you purchase a home and if you sell a home, it is a financial investment for you.
Yes.
And the money from the home can also increase those finances. Just because you're buying a house doesn't mean, oh, I'm just going to deplete my no, it doesn't work like that. There's so many different programs out there now for us to be able to get you into a home with as little money as possible, sometimes no money. So, but you never know where you are in a certain situation financially, emotionally, until you ask, until you say something. And AMR Elite Realtors is here, ready, willing, and able to assist you just as much as making moves happen realty in North Carolina. We are excited about the industry, and we are excited that we have the opportunity and the skills to be able to assist you with whatever your real estate needs are. So, as always, who are we and what do we do? Who are we?
We are reliable realtors.
Providing exceptional service.
No need to go far.
Come
on down to AMR.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me the platform this morning. I really appreciate all of you.
Hey, we
Finance360.
Finance360, everybody.
Have a good day.
Everybody be blessed.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.